Hello, StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between Cham and PiLiPiLi on Bel'Shir Vestige, the latter edition. From WCS Austin 2017, we have in the bottom right corner of the map the red Protoss player. It is PiLiPiLi. And in the top left side of the map, we have the blue Zerg player. It is Cham. Alright, so Cham versus PiLiPiLi from the group stages of that tournament that I just mentioned, WCS Austin. And again, my favorite matchup should be a good one. Had a big old best of, was it a best of 5 I cast yesterday? Best of 5, but it was a ZVT, and I like ZVT a lot, but man, ZVP just has some of the best things in the world. Storms against Hydras and Lurkers are always really fun to watch. Colossus doing well in that situation. Also, Mutalisk Harass can be fantastic. And every once in a while, Broodlords show up in this matchup as well. So, I'm not sure if Cham will be able to get there today, but we do have a very nice match ready to go for us. Whoa! Nexus first! Out of PiLiPiLi, just straight up Nexus firsting against the Zerg player. I mean, it was a hatch first out of Cham, so it was safe, but I mean, if this was a pool into an extractor kind of a thing, could be a problem for PiLiPiLi, but gambled and won did our red Protoss player today. Extractor on the way, Cham 16 spawning pool, so not as greedy as he could do it. But, I mean, he's not going to be able to punish this at all. I mean, Protoss players, I don't know. I only cast games that are longer for the most part, so I kind of feel like this is safe to do right now against Zerg. They're going to hatch first against you, feels like 75 to 80% of the time. And your Nexus, they can't stop it. It gives you an incredible economic advantage to have double Chrono Boost out, double bases out, when your opponent basically has two themselves. I'm surprised we don't see more players doing this, but it's not 100% safe, and that's probably why. Throwing up 2 gateways at the front is PiLiPiLi into a Cybernetics core right about now. Right, there it is. A little tiny bit late, but that's just fine. We're not worried about it at all. I mean, the spawning pool's just now done. Boop. Which means the firstlings could just now be getting made, which means they're not even on their way. I mean, PiLiPiLi is as safe as PiLiPiLi can be. Did scout this, though. Overlord came in, said, all right, third base time. For Cham, responded perfectly to this one. You don't want to go for the third base too soon, but at some point you're going to recognize what's up with your opponent, and if they went for an early Nexus, you can do that without really any fear of repercussion either. That Cyber Core is not even done yet. As you can hear it warping in the background. Ah, yes, a beautiful sound warping there on in the background. Adept, double Chrono Boost Adept on the way from PiLiPiLi. We used to see this a lot more, but hey, PiLiPiLi's rocking it now. We'll see how that works out for him. Tech choice, Twilight Council out of PiLiPiLi. Cham's getting speed for his lings and just trying to drone up right now. Can't really tech up as fast as the Protoss can and keep that worker count going. So it's 30 to 27 harvesters. PiLiPiLi has that lead. Cham should be able to slip into the lead there as he's droning up fairly hard. He's making 6 Zerglings just for base defense because there are some Adepts on the way now. I mean, you can't hope to sit back forever. Even if your opponent went Nexus first, eventually they're going to come and try to kill you. So Lings are out, Queens are out on the edge of this creep. I like the positioning here. Any creep spread can throw down 1 tumor, but worried about Adepts coming in and just killing it anyway. So Queens immediately shots off. Boom, boom, boom. Again, they don't kill them fast, but every shot helps against these Adepts. Sonic transferring back out. Recognizing too many Lings, too many Queens, and we're out of there. Did they kill anything? They killed 2 Lings. Just a bit of a push. Just kind of enough to put in the fear of Protoss in the Zerg player. Resonating Glaives on the way here. Pylon Robotics Facility on the way from PiLiPiLi. Likely for an Observer. If nothing else, is there still not a lair? There's a Roach Warren coming up at least for Cham, but he's not going for a lair at all. So he's planning on some kind, I'd guess, of an Adept all-in out of PiLiPiLi, which you can deal with Roaches, Queens, and Lings. You don't really need a lair. I don't know. We'll see how PiLiPiLi does with this thing. Heading up the left side, ooh, down the left side with his Adepts. Scouting this third base location. Is it safe? Oh, here comes some Zerglings, though. Not enough Lings to handle 4 Adepts, though. I mean, that is 12? 12 Lings against 4 Adepts. That's not something you want to deal with, especially if Resonating Glaives is done. And I'm not sure that Cham knows if it's done or not. Yeah, look at that. Losing a couple Lings very quickly and then retreating up back into the wastelands. And we get a lair yet. I keep looking that production tab. I don't see it. Roaches on the way, though. 6 Roaches. Going to try to defend all of these bases at the same time, spreading creep between all of them as well, which is an excellent decision. And we do, in fact, have a Dark Shrine coming up from PiLiPiLi. So Dark Shrine, possibly for Archons. I'm surprised. I would be surprised if it was actually for Dark Templar. But Archons can be pretty great as well against Zerg with that bonus damage versus biological. Ling's trying to roll in and harass this third base, but no, the probe survives and gets the base down. Ling's trying to get a run by into the natural base, holding the line as the Adepts too, so defending perfectly against a little bit of a Ling harass from Cham. It wasn't serious. Not serious at all. He still doesn't have... He's trying to hold this thing with straight up non-layer units. Hatch tech units, is that what this would be? Roaches against Adepts, not a great battle just because the Adepts can do this. They sonic transfer out. The Roaches can't really chase them down. They have no speed whatsoever, and then they come and murder all of your drones while you're out in the middle of the map. So you got to stay home. Got a bunch of Lings here staying home with. Got some Roaches that we're staying home with as well. Splitting up the Adept play and loading into a Warp Prism to go inside the main while simultaneously threatening the third. This is really good out of PiLiPiLi here. And getting rebuffed at the third base, but that's a-okay. Sonic transferring into the natural base and hitting the main base all at the same time. This is very good out of PiLiPiLi. Ling's showing up, just trying to get shots off. 6 drones are killed there. Warp Prism does manage to escape. PiLiPiLi retreating. Ended up losing, what, 3 Adepts in that little hit. Another push coming up this right side, trying to see if there's a 4th base. There's not, and his 3rd base is done. That's a good sign for PiLiPiLi. You can get 3rd base up against a 3-basing Cham. You're going to feel pretty good about yourself. The lair is now finished. Where is it? Oh, just about done. Just about finished here. A macro hatch on the way from Cham. And pretty much just going mass Adept here for now. Immortal production has begun out of the PiLiPiLi. And yeah, upgrades finally happening. We've got Glial Reconstitution. We have +1 melee attack being researched by Cham. Adepts trying to warp their way here into this 3rd base. And going to kill some drones. Go and kill some drones with that resonating glaives. I think they know they're going to die. They're not even trying to run here. Again, dropping inside. Dropping a DT inside the main base. Overseer morphing in. Adepts in the natural base getting cleaned out, but this DT getting some good shots off here. 5 kills already. Trying to focus down what? Trying to get this queen? Yeah, trying to get the queen. Slowing down the... Oh, never mind. I'm going to say slowing down the macro is nice, but more Adepts back here at the 3rd base. That's 14 dead drones in the last little bit here. It is 56 to 58 harvesters. Cham isn't necessarily dying for a worker count here. I'd like to see him get a 4th, if at all zergly possible. Is he now? He's going with the Adepts again. PiLiPiLi not resting. Coming back inside the main base. Spire on the way from Cham. He wants to be able to stop this. He's going to try to be able to stop this. Lings here are trying to clean up the Adepts, but they're not having none of it. Pretty good Warp Prism micro. Keeping those Adepts alive as long as they can. Overlords here at the front door of PiLiPiLi trying to just scout out what's coming, and there are Immortals coming. There are Zealots and Sentries pushing up at this 4th base that Cham is just trying to knock down here on the right side of the map. Can he save it is the question. What does he even have here? He's got 14 Lings and 9 Roaches. Oh, looking bad. Looking bad for this 4th base. It is under direct assault. I think he's going to have to cancel it. And, oh, he doesn't even cancel it. Oh, no, Cham. All right, so Cham loses that 4th base. We got Ravagers now from Cham. That's good. I like Ravager much, much better than Roach, especially when there are this many Immortals out. And by this many, I mean there are 4. This is a scary army for the Protoss. Pushing in, killing Overlords, trying to kill some of these creep tumors as well. There's Banelings for Cham. Oh, no, Banelings. Guess there's a lot of Zealots and Adepts, though, so maybe that's okay. Maybe we can live with that one. Pulling back PiLiPiLi. Got Guardian Shield up, kind of wasting it, as nothing was attacking them for most of the duration of that spell. Trying to come up this little narrow ramping. Nice concave here. Force fields up, trying to knock down the Banelings sneaking in this left side. Pretty good force fields, though. And the Banelings don't really get as many hits as they would like. So a lot of stuff dead. A lot of those Zealots are dead. Immortals getting shut down here as well. Pulling back. Pulling back his Cham. Trying to hold on. Corrosive Biles landing, forcing PiLiPiLi back. Overseer scouting just in case there are DTs in the army. I don't see that there are any for PiLiPiLi, though, but more Lings, more Ravagers, more Roaches in production all the time here from Cham. Corrosive Biles getting some good hits there. Immortals, though, 7 kills, 8 kills, 3 kills on the Immortals. Banelings coming in. I'm not sure that's what you need here. It's pretty much the Immortals that are causing you the trouble. Banelings basically giving their damage out anyway. Trying to split the Adepts. And the Immortal absorbing a lot of those shots. One of them getting killed by Ravagers. Ravager count pretty darn strong here. 8 Ravagers marching right on in against these Adepts, holding their own. And Cham manages to hold that attack, replacing a 4th base along the left side as well. And it's 113 to 96 total supply. Cham has a tiny bit of a lead. He lost a lot of stuff, but it wasn't a whole, I mean, it wasn't enough for him to die, is what I'm trying to say here. Trying to Immortal drop is PiLiPiLi here inside the main base. Mutas are popping out, though, at perfectly the right time. basically the perfectly right time here. Here at the main base, there's one of them. One of them pops out, chasing away the Warp Prism, which has to leave the Immortals to die. Sorry, Immortals, 11 kills on you, but you're completely toast there. Coming up, Adepts into the third base. We've seen this story several times already today. And trying to kill as many, actually going after the Queen, not really worried about the drones. Surprisingly enough, there we go. Queen's dead. Now Lings are here to respond as well. Cham has been responding pretty much as well as you could expect, although the Adepts are still alive at the third base, which is pretty bad news. 40 Lings in production. 2 Mutalisks in production as well. PiLiPiLi is down to 110 supply. He doesn't have a lot. He's got a bunch of Stalkers here. A lot of Immortals, Mutas trying to fly in and do some harassment here inside the main base. Mothership Core is not present. Oh no, PiLiPiLi did not prepare for this at all. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff to do. I totally understand it. Killing 7 probes so quickly. Coming into the natural base where there are 2 Stalkers. Mothership Core is coming in. Photon Overcharge will be up. And there it is. The Mutas decide to pack it on out there, pulling back to a space that is a little bit safer. There are Stalkers, and there's just not enough. There are too many Mutas here. There are 10 Mutas here just laying waste to the natural base, trying to attack up into this 4th base of Cham, as well as PiLiPiLi. Is he going for it? He's not even really defending that hard against these Mutas. And Banelings getting some shots off, trying to chase down the squishy Adepts. Lings surrounding Stalkers, trying to surround Immortals as well. 145 to 88 total supply. The Mutas did get shoved away from that third base of PiLiPiLi, but they're coming in to clean up the pieces of PiLiPiLi's army, and that's it. PiLiPiLi with the good game. He is defeated, and Cham is victorious. And you're thinking, but Falcon, there's several minutes left on this cast. That's because it's a sneaky twofer. Ha ha ha. Sneaky twofer 1 today. We'll be back with game number 2 of this sneaky twofer between Cham and PiLiPiLi in just a second. But I just want to say, first of all, what an amazing game out of Cham there. I mean, it wasn't perfect. Obviously, lost 21 drones, lost a lot of Lings, 12,000 resources lost in the end there. But he never quite, he did lose a base that was morphing in. That's true. But he didn't lose a hatch that was done. He teched up at the right times. He made just enough Ravagers and just enough Lings, and his Banelings were just effective enough to shove away PiLiPiLi's really strong attacks. And this Immortal's got 4 kills, and he is just seconds from dying here. Muta's joining the party as well, did manage to tech up at the same time. And I just feel like maybe PiLiPiLi, he was trying to rely on this timing attack. When it didn't work, he didn't really go into any splash damage at all. He didn't have Storm. He didn't have Archons. He didn't have Colossus. He didn't have anything that could deal with this many Zerglings and this many Ravagers as well. Just try to go with the Immortal, try to go with the Stalkers, try to go with the Adepts, and they did well. I mean, they killed a lot of things, right? Actually, only 2 Ravagers died in this game and 6 Roaches. Wow. That's a surprisingly low number. 55 Adepts and 26 Stalkers, and 6 Immortals were killed. I mean, it's 15,000 resources lost for the Protoss player compared to 12 for Cham, and that's to be expected. It's not too out of the ordinary, but Cham just had enough to harass that worker line. 40 probes left for PiLiPiLi and 68 for Cham. 4 bases to effectively 2. Good one. All right, we'll be back with game number 2 in the sneaky twofer in just a second. Welcome back to our sneaky twofer between Cham and PiLiPiLi on Honor Grounds, the ladder edition. In the bottom left side of the map, leading 1-0 in this sneaky 2-game series, is the red Zerg player Cham. And in the top left side of the map, we have the blue Protoss player. It is PiLiPiLi. Can PiLiPiLi force a tie here in our 2-game series and retain some level of dignity? I don't know. I don't watch these games in advance, but we'll see. We'll see what game 2 has to bring to us today. All right, so in that game, I think PiLiPiLi, again, just kind of relied on a timing attack with those Immortals, with those a lot of Adepts. Some Sentries mixed in there as well, with Adept harass through the early game, and just couldn't quite do enough damage against the Zerg player to slow down the onslaught that was coming from that 68 drone Zerg with Mutas, with Ravagers, Roaches, Banelings, Lings. And again, a 4-base economy just wasn't quite enough there, and that's how close this game is. I mean, I think if you can kill that third base, PiLiPiLi, it's a much different game, but couldn't quite do it. And Cham manages to make it happen. Double gateway opening from PiLiPiLi off of 1 base here. He's going for some early stuff. He's switching it up straight up against his Zerg opponent, and I don't know. I don't know if I agree with this. It's a 4-player map. It's really hard to scout out where your opponent is. You're very safe to take an expansion down here, just south of your main PiLiPiLi, and considering this is Honor Grounds, one of the safest maps to expand on. But you know what? Who am I to question such an amazing Protoss player? Cybercore on the way as well, and still no sign of an expansion. Hatch first out of Cham, feeling pretty confident about things, has his extractor down, and his pool on the way now as well. So just kind of hanging out, players are. I guess we're scouting with an Overlord, though. Cham is trying to come up this left side. Is it expansion timing for PiLiPiLi? It is. Coming down here to his natural base, getting some minerals as he has some time to kill with this probe. And the Overlord comes in to scout the birth of the Nexus. Good scout. Good scout there by Cham. Did he see that Overlord? I think he saw the Overlord. Because this probe doesn't even bother scouting the bottom right. He's coming to scout the bottom left now. Because that's where he knows the Zerg player is based on this Overlord placement. Third hatch on the way from Cham at the safe base location. The natural is on the low ground outside of his main because you can start to creep spread from there. As we all know so very, very well, he's pulled all workers but one off of his gas. Has Cham. So he wants a drone up. He wanted to get enough gas for something. I don't know what... I mean, he has enough for speed now. He's got 4 lings on the way. Is he going for speed? He keeps spending his minerals on more lings, though. So maybe not. 8 lings this early? Either way, adepts are coming down. But some early adepts. The Overlord did scout, right? Saw this a while ago, these early gateways. And the late timing on the Nexus and said, okay, I got to get some units here. Getting some speed. We got to defend with slow lings and queens against this double adept onslaught. And he's going to have enough. He's going to have enough. 2 queens here. 2 queens against 2 adepts with some lings. This is just the beautiful, beautiful thing you want to do. One of the adepts is going to get killed. Oh, the other one, static transfers inside the main. Scouts out that third base. Really just a scouting unit right now. And by scouting, I mean getting pinned against the wall by Zerglings. Oh, manages to get out. Get out from against the wall. Kill as many lings as you can. You got 3 and you're dead. Ugh, rough go of it. Rough go of it from that adept. Stalker trying to chase away the Overlord that is scouting the front door here of the PiLiPiLi. Got a bunch more lings this Cham and a Baneling Nest on the way for him as well. Twilight Council coming in for the PiLiPiLi. And is he going to be aggressive with these Zerglings? He's going to be aggressive with these Zerglings. He's not getting up this wall. Right? Not getting up this ramp and through this wall with slow Zerglings. Maybe if he changes them into Banelings, goes for some kind of a Baneling bust. Could see it happen. That would be interesting, actually, here. PiLiPiLi not exactly prepared for a Baneling bust, except for the fact he's got a Mothership Core with a Photon Overchargeable Pylon, 2 of them, actually, at his front door here. So Overlord scouting stuff out. Mothership Core can't do anything against him. I'm assuming that the Overlord would like to be called a him metabolic boost finishing up right now. Resonating Glaives beginning for PiLiPiLi at the same time. And this queen could inject on her natural base. There we go. Good queen. Good queen. Well done indeed. Stalker takes down the Overlord that was scouting here at this possibly third base location out of PiLiPiLi, holding the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Are there any lings around? No, but they were close. They are close. Speedlings coming in, tapping the Xel'Naga Watchtower, seeing what's up. There's no third base for us to kill, say the lings. That's unfortunate. Oh, Banelings sneaking in from the top side. I don't see this working, though. Again, Photon Overcharge, really great. Pretty good surround there on the Adepts, trying to let the Banelings get in there. Oh, the force fields are up. Sentries popping out just in time. And Cham decides, we're going to pull back a little bit here. Taking some shots from the Mothership Core. Force fields are just 2. There's another good force field there. And Photon Overcharge just having a field day. 8 kills on that pylon. 3 kills on the Mothership Core. I don't think this is going to work, Cham. You're doing your best, and I respect that, but it is not looking good for you right now. Lings getting up, trying to kill that Stalker, and exploding on the Stalker. But the Lings can't get through because of additional gateway placement back here by PiLiPiLi. He held that so dang well. Again, Pylon, 10 kills. 10 kills. Mothership Core, 5 kills. Sentry, 5 kills. That's just so much dead stuff. 35 dead Lings, 5 dead Banelings for 6 Adepts. And a Stalker in this game so far. I mean, that is not ideal for our Zerg player. Even the tiniest bit, 1,600 resources lost compared to 900 for the PiLiPiLi. Still with the Lings and the Banelings, though. Getting a Roach Warren, augmenting with something else. I mean, one thing it's doing here is keeping Cham, or keeping PiLiPiLi from getting his third base too soon. That's a lot of Sentry. PiLiPiLi might be responding to this a little bit too strongly. I mean, that's a lot of Sentry here. Good for defense, not so much good for killing stuff. So if I was Cham and I saw that many Sentries, I'd probably just go for a quick 4th base somewhere. Maybe knock down these rocks, go for a gold. Warp Prism on the way from PiLiPiLi as well. And I'm waiting for 5 roaches on the way from Cham. I'm just waiting for him to make a decision about something here. Can he possibly, tack up? Is he going to expand? Is he going to get a lair? He's just making roaches. He's spending all of his money on roaches and Ravagers. He might just straight up try to kill the Protoss player with Ravagers taking down those force fields. of PiLiPiLis. Is it time to go for a third? It's 6.5 minutes into the game. PiLiPiLi, I think it might be time to go for a third base. Sentry is trying to destroy this Overlord that's just scouting stuff, man. He's just scouting. Leave him alone. Warp Prism allowing the Overlord to be scouted on the high grounds. Ravagers, Roaches, Lings on the way. This is a 3-base killer attack right now out of Cham. He is being the aggressor in this game for sure, although PiLiPiLi is moving out. That is so many sentries. That is how many? 11 sentries and 9 adepts. It's like a sentry adept play here. Ravagers, Roaches, so many force fields. Oh, the Lings got through. The Lings got through the gaps. They're right on top of your adepts. They're right on top of your sentries. I don't think they actually killed any sentries, though. Nope. Haven't killed any sentries, though. Another huge warp-in of adepts with that Warp Prism. This third base, or natural base, rather, is in a lot of trouble. Trying to get a Spine Crawler up. No, says PiLiPiLi. Not going to happen at all. So many force fields. The Roaches can't get through. The Ravagers are trying to throw down Corrosive Vials and get rid of the force field. A lot of drones going to start dying now unless you straight up engage here. Corrosive Vials forcing the army back at the very least. Hitting one of those sentries. This is looking really, really bad for the Zerg player. He's making more and more Zerglings, 14 Lings in production right now. This sentry has 7 kills and it's going to die. All right, so sentry count is falling a little bit. There are 8 remaining. The energy getting a little bit low here as well. 7 drones have been killed during this attack. The force fields have kept the Roaches away from the battle for the most part. Wow, another beautiful set of force fields here. Ravagers not really wasting Corrosive Vials to take those things down. Banelings trying to waddle in on top of the sentries. There we go. Big time hit on those sentries. We now have 2 remaining. Adepts trying to hold their own against the Roaches, against the Ravagers. It's just concave against concave here. Straight line versus straight line. Banelings waddling in, trying to get into the party and hitting an adept. Hitting an adept there. Got a sentry in the weeds. That looked like an observer for a minute there. It's not. Oh, the third base does end up falling. Well, third base, natural base, whatever. Base on the low ground is toast. Broodlings on top of this army doing some damage. Doing some pretty darn good damage here. Ravagers trying to land, hit that one remaining sentry. It is 69 to 69 supply. It is so close right now, you guys. Losing that base was a massive problem for Cham. However, PiLiPiLi did not expand behind this. And as a result, I think if Cham can replant this, he's going to be okay. He might be okay. Wow, that was insane. 8,000 resources lost for Cham, 7,000 resources lost. I mean, 7,800 lost for PiLiPiLi. It is just very, very neck and neck here. Lings here trying to pick off a Stalker back at where the third base should be for PiLiPiLi, but there isn't one. Roaches, Ravagers, the counter attack for Cham is real. Meanwhile, a drop inside the third base, inside the safe location. A lot of these Stalkers are here. 4 Stalkers here going after those units. Roaches trying to walk up this front door, but there's Photon Overcharge. There are sentries. 4 more drones have been killed. It's 45 to 34 workers. Cham is down. He's bleeding heavily. Drones trying to transfer back and forth. Lings out, trying to kill these Stalkers, but the Warp Prism Micro for PiLiPiLi, pretty good. Pretty good. There we go. That's what you want, is the Queen to chase away that Warp Prism from that location. Just the anti-air is enough to kind of scare the Warp Prism away. Again, trying to land here at this natural base being replanted. Corrosive Vial landing. Not really hitting much of anything there either. Roaches are home. Ravagers are home. But Corrosive Vial, it's hard to hit a Warp Prism. They're fast. They're sneaky. They're doing everything they can to not get hit by a stationary type attack. Dark Shrine on the way from PiLiPiLi again, just like in game number 1. I feel like this is anybody's game, although that third base is now getting planted by PiLiPiLi. It is now getting planted by the PiLiPiLi. It's just what is here for Cham. 7 Roaches, 4 Ravagers, 15 Lings. He's not droning up that hard, you guys. He's making more and more Zerglings. He wants to kill the Protoss player now. Now, I say, making a Queen at his replacement natural base, because this Warp Prism is going to keep bothering him until he gets rid of it with something. Some kind of anti-air. Trying to get a Corrosive Vial triangulation here and finish it off. Good old push here from PiLiPiLi coming on down. It's 107 to 84 total supply. PiLiPiLi coming from north to south, trying to kill this base again. Can Cham hold him off? He's held him off so many times. Can he pull it off this time? The Warp Prism Micro is actually sick. That's probably the best Stalker Warp Prism Micro I've ever seen. 5 kills, 3 kills, 4 kills on those Stalkers, and none of them have died. Corrosive Vial's landing, getting some good hits off there. Banelings trying to get hits. But no, this Ravager group there we go, getting stuck and trapped between Adepts and Stalkers. All the Ravagers get killed right there. And PiLiPiLi a little bit off the beaten path. He's trying to come up to this natural base to kill it for the second time in this game. His third base is happy back home, 45-44. Harvesters. Cham is back up to where he wants to be, but is it enough? I don't think it's enough, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to come with his concave, trying to get great positioning here. Banelings trying to get in. No, the force fields are too good. Force fields are too good there, and that's it. A good game out of Cham. Cham is defeated, and PiLiPiLi is your victor. Let's give him a 1. We tied it up. It's a tied-up ZVP. 1-1 in this little tiny 2-game, 2-fer series. Great job there by PiLiPiLi. He fought so hard to kill this natural base, and then when he did, he was able to expand behind it, push on in with another very similar push. More stalkers this time than the previous one, which is probably great. More sentries, just so gas-heavy is this composition. In the end, we had about 11,000 resources lost for the Zerg player compared to 8,000 for PiLiPiLi. 22 roaches died, 7 ravagers, 20 banelings, and 150 lings in an 11-minute game. Yikes. Meanwhile, 41 adepts died, which is a good number to kill if you're Cham. 9 stalkers and 12 sentries, but the immortals did not die, as they are immortals. Good one. So really great, really fun little 2-game series to cast. Hope you enjoyed it as well, because that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.